Okay, the next thing we want to do, from the previous video, we put in the footings, the pilings, and the spread footings for the different columns that we're going to have in this structural model. And then the next thing we wanted to do is put in these grade beams, um, these connectors, these beams kind of on the ground. Sometimes they're called ground beams, but they're going to connect the footings from one to the other. And to do that, the first thing we're going to do is go into structure and into beams. And we're going to find a concrete rectilinear beam. Okay, and then we're going to resize it so that it's the shape that we want it, the right width and length that we want it. You'll see two right here. You'll see that I made a beam called a grade beam, so out of a concrete rectilinear beam there that's 18 inches wide and 12 inches deep. It's easy to do. All we have to do is select, once again, an existing concrete rectilinear beam here and go edit type, and then just edit the dimensions on the B and H. Uh, that's the height, and then the B is the width. Um, so anyway, but I've already done that for you. You should have a grade beam in here. And then all we're going to do, it's pretty straightforward. All we're going to do is come in, click on line up here, make sure that we're referencing the top of footing so that the top of our grade beam is at the top of the footing. And then make sure that the Z offset here hasn't been changed and that we're setting this beam by its top. Okay, so we're going to come in here, go snap to just the center lines of that. It's automatically going to notice it joined our footing and our grade beam, and that's because Revit saw that, well, this is concrete, and concrete, they're probably going to be connected in some way structurally, so it went ahead and did that. And we could come back and unjoin them if we felt like we needed to, but in this case, we really don't need to. So I'm just coming in here and drawing all these grade beams. I'm going to stop here. This is pretty boring. I'm going to stop here and then pick it up after I get them all in. So now I've come in and put all the grade beams in. We can see them over here in the 3D view, right? And so the next thing we're going to do is come in and pour a slab over them. So let's now pour slab over them. The slab does not, the top of the slab is not at the top of the footing, right? That's the bottom of the slab. So we need to, let's go to structure level 1, which is the level at which the slab, which is where this slab is, right? The slab right here that we put in, that I put in late before. And so we're going to start right there. Okay, so make sure we start on that level, and then we're going to go into structure, and we're going to use a structural slab, okay, not an architectural slab, because it's going to have some structure to it, and it's going to be at level 1. It's not going to be offset any. Okay. And then we're going to use a 6-inch foundation slab. Now you'll see that there's only one loaded here. If we wanted an 8-inch slab or a 10-inch slab or 12-inch slab, we just go into edit type. We would duplicate this, type in 8-inch slab, and then go into edit here, and under structure we just add 8 inches to the type, and now we have a different type, or an 8-inch slab. But we're going to use 6. So that's going to work fine for us. I'm just going to use a rectangle, since we're just going to go from the kind of center here all the way to here. Now I could have, okay, I could have connected, I could have opened that slab right there and just changed its profile and to cover the whole area. But this is simpler and straighter, more straightforward. And so we're just going to do that at this point. And so it's going to, build the slab here. Okay. The key thing is make sure that you start on level 1 and not top of footing, because that may create a conflict for you. And so now we have our slab, our grade beams, and our pilings and footings in, and we're ready to move on to our columns and add our columns.